On days, oh my god, that was a big bug.
Pretty wild.
You cross over Larkya La Pass. It's like a big slumber party.
Yeah.
When you've been hiking for a few days, you're starving all the time. Snow-capped peaks to really gorgeous forest.
We've gone through like 4 seasons on this trip. Namaste, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Stephanie.
We're from Canada and we chose to do the Manaslu Circuit trek with Himalayan Peace Treks. Today is day 11 and we're having some lunch. Thought we'd recap our trip a little bit.
Yeah, we've had an amazing experience so far. And while we sit here with some of our last views of the mountain behind us, we're just thinking about all of the cool things that we've gotten to experience. So the Manaslu Circuit is about a 14-day hike through the Himalayas. It's a really amazing trek that takes you through a lot of different landscapes. You start at a fairly low elevation and then slowly and methodically you kind of gain elevation until you cross over Larkya La Pass, which we did yesterday.
5,106 meters.
Yeah. So for us, that's definitely the highest we've ever been.
Oh yeah.
And then you start to come back down and you gradually come back down from being high up in the alpine in the snow down into these beautiful forests below.
We've gone through like temperature changes of plus 25 to minus 5 in 10 days. It's been pretty wild.
I'm really happy we chose this trek because it gives us such a wide variety of weather, landscapes, tons of different villages that we've seen along the way. The road ends within the first day or two of hiking, so you're along this tiny little path and you get to see all of these villages where people are living really traditional lifestyles. So you get such an amazing glimpse of culture and religion and things that we didn't even really expect to get from our hiking trip. So I think there's a lot to be gained on this trek in particular. That's been a really cool experience.
Yeah, so a typical day looks like waking up around 7 a.m. You have your tea, some breakfast, and then usually you hike for a few hours, get to another tea house, have lunch, usually dalbat. There isn't any other.
Yeah, dalbat is an amazing food to have when you're trekking. It's kind of like a big plate with a whole pile of rice, and then you get some lentils, a curry, some green veg, and then something really spicy and pickled. But
it's perfect for us Canadians who tend to overeat because
yes,
you just get unlimited amounts. Like you want seconds, thirds, fourths.
Plus, when you've been hiking for a few days, you're starving all the time. So you can have really big platefuls, which has been awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, lunchtime and then usually back on the trail for another couple of hours and usually arriving into the next tea house around 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Rest, get your room, and then dinner usually around 6 or 7.
Something that's been so nice that I didn't really expect is that the whole experience is not so much about getting from one place to the next, but more about enjoying every step along the way. So we've been able to take our time, have lots of masala tea, take in views. We have had a daily nap every day.
Every day. That's crucial.
That is crucial. If you find a place to nap in the sunshine, you have to take advantage.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've just been really taking it slow and kind of soaking in these spectacular views in a way that we'll remember forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The villages are all so different too.
Yes.
Each tea house is different. The dalbat at every village is different, which is kind of fun to see the differences village to village.
Totally. Something I really liked to see was the way the villages change as you get further and further from Kathmandu, I guess, or from like major city centers. So things are a little bit more elaborate when you start. There's lots of food options, and then as you start to get higher and higher in elevation and further, yeah, everything becomes a little bit more simple and a little bit more rustic. By the time we got to Dharamsala, which was our highest elevation for sleeping.
Before the pass.
Right before we went over the pass. there were 4 of us in a little bedroom with 4 mattresses on the floor, but we've met so many people along the way that we slept with new friends in our little sleeping accommodations, and we were warm and cozy on a cold night. So that was pretty cool. It was like a big slumber party. Yeah.
Shared a room. Didn't sleep with them.
Okay, we shared a room. That's a good way to put it.
The Manaslu Circuit has absolutely incredible views.
Yes.
We started low in a town called Jagat along the river. You followed that for a few days, staying at relatively low elevations, contending with a lot of mule trains on the trail. The occasional mule train traffic jam.
The nice thing about being by the river was that there are these huge suspension bridges that cross from one side to the other.
Steph loves them.
Okay, I'm terrified of them. You love them. But they really are fun because you get these amazing views of the glacial rivers below you. And the bridge kind of sways in the wind, and the prayer flags are blowing, and you can see, at that time, mostly hills in the distance, but it's really gorgeous. And
we would call them mountains in Canada, but we were corrected by our guide, Hari. They're Hiltons, not mountains.
Not a hill, not a mountain.
Hiltons.
But a Hilton. And then after crossing a lot of the suspension bridges, and being at those lower elevations, we came to a place called Shyala, and that was a really cool place because when we got into camp, the weather kind of changed. It got gray and cloudy. It was starting
really
to rain, snow a little bit. And when we went to bed, I thought, you know what? We might not have good weather on this trip, and that's okay. But when we woke up in the morning, it was crystal clear. And there's this amazing 360 view all the way around our tea house, and you can see
mountains.
Yeah, true mountains.
Himalayas,
and that was really our first excellent view of Manaslu. It had this little cloud coming from the top of it, and when the sunrise hit it, it looked like it was on fire. It's spectacular. I mean, even if you've seen mountains before, you haven't seen anything like this. Yeah.
So we worked our way up from about 800 meters to Larkya La Pass, which was 5,106 meters. The pass day starts from Dharamsala and ends in Bimthang, and that was one of the hardest days we had. The 5,000 meter elevation is no joke. But you get to the top, you get to the pass, and it's all worth it. Just the most incredible views. It kind of feels like, you shouldn't be there. Humans shouldn't be up there, but yet you're up there anyways. There's glaciers everywhere, and I don't know if it's the lack of oxygen, but the feeling of euphoria having reached that elevation and worked so hard to get there was incredible. You got to do it.
Especially when you wake up early in the morning, and for us, it was a beautiful starry morning, and the moon was just kind of setting over these really jagged peaks in the background, and we were just hiking by headlamp, and then the sun starts to come up, and you get this golden ridge that forms at the top of the mountain peaks, and then by the time you get to the top, we got lucky. I mean, we had spectacular weather to be able to see these amazing views from the top. But like Brandon said, the elevation is no joke. That was something that was new to us. But we were really thankful for our guide because he took really good care of us and kind of checked in, because we definitely did have a few symptoms of altitude sickness as we went. A few headaches here and there, some digestion challenges here and there. But
which
really,
is pretty common.
Yeah,
a lot of people from other companies and other groups were feeling those types of effects as well. But
I think it was really manageable because we took our time and we made sure that we had acclimatization days in really specific places to allow our bodies to adjust, which was so important. Every time I started feeling kind of off, we hung out for a night or even a few hours, and by the time I'd had the time to adjust, I was feeling really good again. But up in the higher altitudes, It's like slow going, really tiny steps and really heavy breathing. Snail's pace. Yeah. So something really cool about this trek is that along the way, every night you get to stay in a tea house in a different village. And so what a tea house looks like is, well, they're all a little bit different, but usually we had our own room and we each had a little single bed. Sometimes we had our own bathroom in the room, but sometimes it was like a shared bathroom.
Yeah.
We brought our own sleeping bags, but they also provided blankets and a pillow, which was really nice.
Didn't expect that.
We didn't expect that. The tea houses were really sweet and really comfortable. The one thing that I wasn't maybe expecting is that if it's cold, there's no way to heat the tea house, or not fully anyways. So some of them were quite chilly at night, and we were thankful for having our good warm sleeping bags and lots of extra layers too.
Yeah, usually just the dining hall will be heated, so it's typical to hang out in the dining hall with all your fellow trekkers and the guides, because that's the only heat source. There's no heat source in your individual rooms.
Yeah.
So we got really good at a couple of different card games. Logged a lot of hours on the deck of cards.
And the higher up you go, the colder it does get.
Yeah.
And once you get above the tree line, it can be a little bit hard to find enough fuel to heat the stoves. So they were using yak dung, which
tried yak dung.
Was surprising to me.
But it works.
It works, kinda.
Yeah.
It's not the warmest, but it did work. But yeah, that was really unique to see.
Yeah. But yeah, kind of going back to the tea houses, the food, a lot of great options with the food.
Yeah.
As a Westerner, foreigner, I'd recommend sticking vegetarian just to
go easy
on the gut a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's always plenty of options. You've got like fried noodles. You can do like fried noodles with veggie and egg. You can do fried rice. Dalba, it's always a great option.
We ate a lot of Swiss fish.
Yeah, Swiss roasty. Yeah, they have a lot of great options.
And big portions, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breakfast, pancakes.
Yeah.
Tibetan bread, porridge.
Yeah.
I ate a lot of porridge. I recommend it. We got apples and honey with that. It was great.
Yeah.
Great for the morning.
The menus are simple, and they're pretty much the same everywhere you go, but it's good, energy-dense food that carries you along your way.
Yeah. And the food, same menus, but it does vary village to village, like as far as what you're gonna get, which is another great reason to have a guide. They know where the best food's at, and Hari
the good stuff.
Never let us down. We always had great food.
Yeah.
So one of the challenges that we faced a couple of days before going up over the pass was on our way from Samagaun to the town of Samdo. We got a really heavy snowfall during our hike. The snow was quite wet and everything got pretty soaked.
Yeah, it was like whiteout conditions.
It was beautiful.
It was very beautiful.
It was beautiful. The only problem is that because you're gaining elevation there was pretty much no way to get everything dry after that. So
yeah, that was hard.
In Samdo, everybody was hanging out in the dining hall close to the yak dung heaters with all their stuff hanging from the rafters, playing cards, just trying to
we had our underwear and socks hanging from the rafters of the dining hall, just trying desperately to get things dry. We also made a rookie mistake because every single morning we had like beautiful clear weather, so we expected there to be beautiful clear weather. We did all our laundry the night before, and then we were now hiking with like wet clothes through a really thick snowstorm. So we had a lot of clothes to try to dry out.
So you want to think about when to do laundry.
Think about when you're doing
I'd suggest keep it to the lower elevations. So other than Larkya La Pass, there's a lot of other highlights along the Manaslu Circuit. One of our acclimatization days had us hiking up to a Gumba, which was just incredible. It was like this big yak pasture high up in the mountains, approximately 4,000 meters. We were the only people up there, as well as a bunch of yaks.
Yeah. And it was a Buddhist monastery.
It was a Buddhist
up there.
monastery
Yeah.
where they hold celebrations. Nobody was up there when we were there,
Yeah.
but the place was just absolutely incredible.
It's like a fairy tale.
Yeah, it was surreal. I mean, a lot of this trip has been surreal.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So we did the Gumba. We did another side hike to a glacial-fed lake from Manaslu Glacier, which was also incredible. We had, again, a great nap there.
Yeah, good naps.
Very cool. We saw an avalanche off of the glacier, which was pretty cool. A lot of monasteries we checked out, which was also cool to see a different way of life. Some young monks were in class when we strolled through the monastery just outside of Shyala. That was really cool to see. And the monastery is always like perched high above the villages. They've got the best views.
Yeah.
So you got to go check them out.
Yeah. And it was just so interesting to learn a little bit more about Buddhist culture. And to see where they practice, to hear a few of their like chants and prayers and see the flags and see how hard they work to get to these places of worship was really fascinating. They have built these like huge mani walls with inscriptions and these beautiful temples in the middle of what seems for us like nowhere.
Yeah.
But it's been a ton of work to build these beautiful places, and it's really, really special to be able to experience that.
Yeah, absolutely. What else did we see? We went through like what seemed like a coastal forest, even though we're nowhere near any kind of large body of water. I think it was around like 2,300 meters. There were just these massive cedar trees that looked like they had been plucked from like California or something. It's just absolutely incredible. Like the smells of the forest, the blooming rhododendrons.
Today, on our way back down from the pass, we had this amazing walk through like a really, really gorgeous forest with lots of moss and blooming trees and flowers, and the river flowing beside us. It smelled amazing and sounded really peaceful and lovely. So that's been a nice, easy cruise back down in elevation after a really hard day of climbing yesterday. And just such a huge difference from like snow-capped peaks to really gorgeous forest and warm weather again, which I enjoy.
We've gone through like 4 seasons on this trip.
Yes, it's true. Bring warm clothes and bring cold clothes. You need both.
Yeah, bring it all.
Yeah, bring it all, even if your pack is heavy. I think something else to mention is that we're doing this trek just the two of us with our guide Hari. We're carrying all of our own gear, so it's been a challenge, I'm not gonna lie, but it's been manageable with lots of little rest breaks, and we tried to keep our packs as light as we could. It's been great because we have gotten to spend lots of time, the two of us, and with our guide, but we've also met a ton of amazing people along the way, because you kind of form this group of people who are doing the same circuit as you along a similar timeline.
On the same itinerary, staying in the same places.
Yeah, so on days, oh my god, that was a big bug.
That was a big bumblebee.
That was so huge.
No. Got him off. But met lots of great people along the way, which is cool. We didn't necessarily anticipate that per se.
And there's been lots of short days of hiking. Our first few days were quite long, but in the middle, when you're at higher elevation, the hikes are a lot shorter. So you get into camp a lot earlier. You have lots of time on your hands. So we've been playing cards and sharing stories and learning about people's lives from all over the world, which has been super fun. You really get to know a lot of people out here with similar interests as you and experiencing the same amazing things that you are, and that's pretty cool.
All in all, it's been a fantastic trip. Would highly recommend it. Highly recommend Himalayan peace treks.
Yes.
Our guide Hari has been extremely diligent.
He's our dad, he's our coach,
Yeah.
he's our guide, he's our navigator.
Yeah, he's the do-it-all guy, super knowledgeable. You can pretty much ask him any question and somehow he's got the answer to it. So definitely check out Manaslu Circuit, and if you're going to do it with Himalayan Peace Treks.